Given the events that are taking place, especially in the United States, we feel that we should add our revolutionary voice against the unfolding events. And so I'm going to read to you a statement, firstly, on the events that took place in the United States. ZANU-PF joins the world over in condemning the callous murder of a black African-American man, George Floyd, at the hands of white United States police. The most chilling and devoid of humanity are the circumstances surrounding the killing of this innocent black man, who pleaded with his murderers to stop choking him because he could not breathe anymore, but they kept on lynching him onto the ground until he passed out. ZANU-PF, in solidarity with civil rights movements in the United States, minority groups, and the entire global community, joins the world in demanding for justice on this matter. The murder of Floyd George comes against the backdrop of reports that black African Americans and other minorities in the United States are the hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The callous murder, which was witnessed by white accomplice police officers, exposes the fact that racism is against black people is embedded and institutionalized in the United States. The brutal and ruthless killing of George Floyd by a white Minneapolis police officer on camera out of no apparent provocation must be an eye-opener that black minorities are at the mercy of successive administrations in the United States. The hypocrisy of the United States as the so-called champion of human rights has been exposed. Indeed, the United States cannot prefect the world on human rights in light of this latest incident, which has, among many others, left them deprived of the moral high ground to speak or police the world on human rights and democracy. The murder of this black African American comes amidst global calls for the United States to close its torture camps in Guantanamo Bay, where several blacks and Muslim communities have been condemned to, following largely frivolous accusations of being terrorists. Indeed, as we offer our solidarity to the black communities in the United States, whose lives continue to be at risk due to racial discrimination at the hands of authorities, we remember George Floyd's last words in pain, that, and I quote, "I can't breathe, I'm choking," end of quote. These words must become symbols of resistance for the peoples in Cuba, Palestine, Venezuela, Iran, Sudan, and Zimbabwe, whose lives and developmental aspirations are being choked by the debilitating effects of illegal economic sanctions, which have literally suffocated them such that they can't breathe. The world's doubting Thomases must find this callous murder as a clear indication that indeed the Americans' imposition of sanctions, among many other punitive measures against our country, were never aimed at restoring the observation of the rule of law and human rights, which the United States itself is blatantly and shamelessly perpetrating internally and externally. Sadly, as the world reflects on the horror circumstances surrounding the murder of George Floyd, we are taken aback by the remarks of one Robert O'Brien, the National Security Advisor to President Trump, that Zimbabwe is responsible for the demonstrations rocking every part of the United States, or has contributed to the demonstrations rocking every part of the United States as people register their anger over the incident. While we offer solidarity by calling for justice and the end to institutionalized racism in the United States, we reiterate the statement made by our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Comrade S.B. Moyo, that such allegations are desperate and without any basis. The police officer who murdered George Floyd is not a Zimbabwean, nor is he employed by our police force. Instead of resorting to blaming us, to the naming and shaming and threatening innocent people of Zimbabwe who are voicing their concern on social media, we advise President Trump to tone down the hostile sound coming out from his trumpet and join our president's call for global peace, respect for humanity, and an end to all forms of racism. We acknowledge the right of Zimbabweans to voice their concerns at whatever level, including social media, with regards to this matter of global concern, as they are taking lessons from the manner in which the U.S. Embassy in Zimbabwe and its troops of sponsored faceless social media accounts, particularly on Twitter, have involved themselves in our internal affairs based on predetermined positions. As ZANU-PF, built upon the pillars of unity, peace, and development, we rally the world to condemn this blatant racial killing and the subsequent ruthless and disproportionate crackdown on peaceful protesters, whose only crime thus far is to demand justice. This is not asking for too much, and certainly it can't be the basis for issuing unbridled threats against our country, among others. ZANU-PF will always stand up and raise the red flag in defending vulnerable communities the world over, wherever they are, notwithstanding the color or might of the perpetrator. The majority of our black and colored people in America today were not there by choice, but are descendants of a generation that was forcibly displaced from Africa, their motherland in chains under brutal and inhuman conditions during the slave trade against their will. They fought for their emancipation from slavery, and today we remind them that indeed the fight against racism is a just fight, and they must be assured of our solidarity. You of course know your history that they only got the vote in the mid-60s. That is, I think, it's important to reflect upon the pretense of the United States in being a champion of democracy and human rights. However, even as we offer this solidarity, we remind those demonstrating to realize that they can still register their anger peacefully without resorting to violence. We further call upon progressive civil society movements in the United States, as headlined by #Black Lives Matter movement, to equally join the people of Zimbabwe, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran, and Sudan in calling for the removal of illegal sanctions imposed on us by successive U.S. administrations seeking regime change under the cover of human rights and democracy. We call upon President Trump to reflect on the re-engagement calls by our government, led by His Excellency President E.D. Mnangagwa, in order to ensure that our two nations can work together to achieve a better world as equal partners. Sanctions are an act of war, cowardice, and have no place in the 21st century civilization. Indeed, we reiterate that Zimbabwe does not look at the United States as an adversary. Rather, it is the United States that does so. They treat us as an adversary, Notwithstanding, by the way, that we are a small country, a small economy, a small country, we don't have military might to take on the might of the United States. And yet they find it a threatening adversary. Through maintaining hostile illegal sanctions and regime change endeavors, which Zimbabweans have resolutely and resiliently resisted. The murder of George Floyd must be a wake-up call for those in our midst here in Zimbabwe and the region, that we must always stay vigilant in the face of such injustices, which manifest themselves variously by targeting a specific race, the African race. And we must say this, that those of us who go to America and ask for sanctions are not patriotic. They don't love their people. It's evil. That is the end of my first statement. Let me now touch on what I consider has been, over the past weeks maybe, a systematic and targeted attack on the first family members. Systematic, targeted attacks on the first family members. ZANU-PF has noted with concern the systematic, well-choreographed and sponsored attacks on the integrity of the first family by unscrupulous characters such as Hopewell Chingodo, this time targeting the president's son. We are aware that these baseless attacks did not start today, but need to stop forthwith. From false allegations that the First Lady's convoy hit a child in Kwekwe, to that one of his sons that he has interest in Drugs International, all of which have not been backed up by any evidence except publication of pictures involving a Delish Nguwaya. We warn the public and those writing these lies to stop. The president has posed for photos with various business players, both local and international, particularly those donating for COVID-19, as a gesture of appreciation. This cannot therefore translate to owning, knowing, or working with those businesses, either personally or otherwise. We therefore wish to advise false news peddlers and our detractors to desist forthwith from perpetrating desperate character assassinations and shenanigans. We also felt that we should give the party position on the removal of Honorable Energy Mutodi from his office of Deputy Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. We are aware that the removal was some time ago, but we think that we need to issue and demonstrate and show our party position. ZANU-PF stands solidly behind the decision taken by His Excellency President Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa on 20th May 2020 to relieve Honorable Energy Mutodi from the position of Deputy Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services. And we are taking the opportunity as ZANU-PF to reiterate our policy on foreign relations with other countries. ZANU-PF's policy is that of non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. It is on account of this policy that the party resolutely condemns and opposes the imposition, extension, and intensification of sanctions against Zimbabwe, which is a direct interference in the domestic affairs of our country by those countries which have imposed illegal sanctions against Zimbabwe. Worse, in the statements made by Honorable Mutodi, was the fact that the unhelpful negative comments were made by him concerning a fellow SADC member country. a country whose population and political leadership made enormous sacrifices for the liberation of southern African countries, including Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF apologizes to Chama cha Mapinduzi, President John Pombe Magufuli, the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania for the errant behavior of our member and the unwarranted statements that he made. Of equal concern to ZANU-PF have been the veiled attacks by Honorable Mutodi on colleague members of the party. The party wishes to make it clear that those it has deployed to work in government and its general membership, we want to make it clear to those we have deployed in government and our general membership that discipline and teamwork under the leadership of our President, His Excellency E.D. Mnangagwa, is an imperative. Disagreements and contradictions, if any, among colleagues should be resolved through the party's known channels and procedures and not on social media. And I'm sure that you recall that this is the basis upon which we had to discipline former youth leaders, Senengamu and Matutu. We want membership to follow laid down channels and procedures for resolving contradictions and disagreements, and not to seek to do it through social media. And where this happens repeatedly, we will no doubt take the necessary disciplinary action. ZANU-PF cadres are reminded that they should never emulate the amoebic and divisive tendencies and characteristics of the splitting opposition groupings. Please, I conclude and ask that you stay home, observe social distance, wear your masks, and be safe. Thank you very much. COVID-19 is real and it kills. Thank you very much for coming to this press conference.